So you was letting TJ Chapman, aka TJ DJ.
Mm-hmm.
You was letting him hear me. I mean, you was letting him hear
Project
Can't Beat God.
Yeah, and this was like 2 years ago. So and on his platform, and he told me told me like, you got all the ingredients for a right song, but I think you need to get somebody to sing the verse sing the hook. He said, you sound all right, but I think you need to get somebody to sing the hook. And that's why I held it for so long, second guess myself, not saying that, he don't know what he's talking about, because, if you know who he is, you see the work. I study a lot of background people. I might not study the artist. I might study, I might follow who managing this person, especially if I like their music. How can I get in, on that level, rather than trying to tap in with an artist and get a feature and all that. Just see how people move and who they networking with. That's how I kind of do with my social media anyway.
Man, when you remember the I don't want to be here if I don't gotta, that when Fiend did that on Silk the Shocker album?
Was that the one where he that one charges to the game was? Yeah.
So when I heard it, I was like, hold on. Like, it gives...
Now that you say that, I ain't even thinking about that, but now you say that.
Like, it gives you that vibe. So, I mean, maybe TJ had something else in mind, but certain things, when you do it,
mm-hmm.
you can't nobody else do it like that.
That's why I'm saying, man, I got somebody to try to sing it, and a couple people are like, nah, it don't give me the same feeling, bro. I feel like I'm trying to do it for somebody else, and like, nah, like that ain't the intent. It came out to, you know what I'm saying? It came out to, because I speak with, if I don't talk a lot, so when I say something, I try to speak with conviction, because, I'm being genuine. I know I'm speaking with intent, so that's why it came off like that. And I was like, nah, let me just keep it raw how it is. If they like it, they like it. They don't, they don't.
Man, so one of the first things I listened to the song over and over again, just studying the song. First thing, this is the Deprogram Show. So
mm-hmm.
you was like programmed us as believers instead of thinkers. So when you just writing it, when you went back and listened to it, because you didn't have no intentions on putting it out there, when you went back and listened to it, what did the Most High just give to you? Like, when you heard it, you was like, man, God, I said that.
Right. And at the time too, that's why all my music kind of like conscious based, because I went through a time where I was, searching, and like, man, I was lost, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know if I believe in what's going on, what I've been taught all my life. When you get older, you start seeking for yourself, and certain stuff you was taught, and this whole time you start realizing, like, nah, something just don't seem right. Even when I was young, I used to say something about church don't seem right. Not saying we not supposed to be in church, or we not supposed to, submit to something higher than ourselves. But even as a kid, just telling me and actually seeing people actions, how people actually on a day-to-day life. You see some people in church, and you be like, and you see them out, and you be like, nah, like, how you this and that. It's confusing when you young. It's just a lot of confusion. And when I got older, I was in a point of seeking for myself, and I'm looking, in the Muslim faith. I'm reading the Quran, reading different books and texts, and just trying to put the puzzle together for myself. And that's why I got to the point where, like they say, man, one man that knows something knows that he knows nothing at all. And that's why I got to the point where, and even the Can't Beat God came about. My granny used to tell me a long time ago, like, it's like you running from something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes, I don't think none of us really was raised, no street nigga or to be thug. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you just became about because hey, this is how life, adapted to life, how life going. You may have forgot about, the morals and ethics you was taught when you get older, because you know what I'm saying, you try to, you living for yourself now. You know what I'm saying? You feel that you probably know everything and all that. So the Can't Beat God, my grandma used to always tell me that, God's will is gonna be done. You know what I'm saying? Even if you got something to say and he wants you to say it, he gonna get it out of you one way or the other. Either you gonna be a lesson or he'll take it away from you. You know what I'm saying? And even in that whole lesson, like, bro, I don't want to go off tangent, but I was in a fatal accident down there, you know, this past last year, you know what I'm saying? Well, 2021. So even in that, bro, like I started, you know, my perspective always been different, but even when that's why I was at the time I was like, nah, I gotta put this out, cause imagine if I would have held it in, you know what I'm saying, never came out, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I'm moving there. Like, you know, you can't be God, you know, just gotta do the work.
Man, have anybody ever told you? Well, obviously your grandmother told you got a calling on your life.
And a lot of people don't. I mean, a lot of people don't say that. I don't want to say, you know, like I'm, you know, what I'm saying, better than anybody else or none of that nature. But I always done heard that even ever since I was, you know, young. It ain't just been from my mother, my grandmother, you know, people I just meet and, you know, in passing, just to hear me talking. If we speak, like I said, I don't speak a lot. So when I'm talking, you know, I try to speak with intent and because I'm always listening. Even when I was younger, I was always a listener. So, you know, I done heard that from a lot of people, but you know, you don't. It don't matter until you start realizing it yourself and you start moving in that way. So,
man, cause it's like a lot of people. I don't put this out publicly, but how the Deprogram show came about, I actually recognized the calling on my life, and I thought the Most High wanted me to go into like a pastoral role.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started studying, seeking things for myself, started studying the institutional church. Mm-hmm. And I end up recording, I got an album called Deprogram. Then I'm working on a book called Deprogram.
Yeah.
So I was like, why not do the Deprogram show?
Sure. Makes sense. Yeah.
And I'm looking at things and I'm like, man, like the program as believers instead of thinkers, and it's like you could believe, like this what people don't even want to tap into. Even the demons and the evil ones believe.
Yeah.
But are they living by it? Because we can, I mean, we know what time it is.
Yeah.
But we still got free will, free choice.
Yeah.
And then you brought up the arrogance of your devilish nature. How are you going to limit God?
Yeah. Yeah, because I wrote that because, you know, like I said, man, if within that, I don't try to say I'm no Christian or any denomination or whatever, Muslim, nothing like that. Not saying, you know, they right or wrong. But I just feel like we timeless beings, and if I put myself on the timeline, you telling me my existence started right here. When you telling me, you know, the stars and we come from carbon, and you start scientifically breaking us down as who we are, you know, as people, you're like, nah, we timeless beings. We was here before all this.
Yeah.
And if I put myself on this timeline, I'm limiting myself to what you telling me.
Man, so let me ask you this. Before I go into, I'm gonna go into this next quote. Then I'm gonna ask you about the end.
Yeah.
You also said we could be hamsters on this wheel in this matrix.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard that, I always tell people, just in conversation, they want us on the hamster wheel, so we can't really pay attention to what's going on in the matrix. And what's funny with you saying it like that, and me and you had never really chopped it up ever. I recorded an album years ago with one of my brothers, and the name of the album was called The Matrix.
Yeah.
And we was just, cause honestly, before I got deep, I didn't care nothing about no Matrix.
Yeah.
Then my homeboy pulled me to the side. He was like, "Hey man, you ought to watch The Matrix." Man, I don't want to watch no Matrix. He said, "Man, I'm telling you, watch The Matrix." I said, "Why should I watch The Matrix?" He said, "All right, check this out." He said, "Neo is like the character, is like a Christ figure in the movie." He said, "You got your Morpheus," and then he said, just look at this one scene." And the one scene he showed me was Lawrence Fishburne playing Morpheus, talking to Keanu Reeves playing Neo, and it was like, I don't remember. I know it's a red pill, blue pill, but if you take this pill, you'll see what it really is.
Yeah.
And then if you take this pill, you could take this pill and you could
wake up and go back to the regular life.
So as that was happening, as he telling me this, I had took the pill, like once I accept the truth, Yahshua HaMashiach, they call him Christ. I mean Jesus, but that's whole will be about. But it's like I was like, man, I said, man, let me check this move out. And I started seeing things, and it's like once you really walk in the truth, some people be like, man, you crazy. And I be like, all right, I mean, that's just, but me understanding and after watching that movie, that's just because you chose to stay in that slumber.
Chose to stay standing. A lot of us try to rather stay standing. You know
so man, when I heard that, when I heard those lines, I was like, man, God, like, I was like, man, I can't miss this.
Yeah.
So I was tapping in, and when you hit me up, I was like, man, I gotta interview him. Like,
yeah.
And I just got to dissecting the music, and I was like, I thought about 3 people, and no disrespect to their family. I ain't even gonna put their name out, but I thought about 3 young men who I done. One of them I met through an interview with Lil Mo, and y'all can do the assumptions on your own. One of them I met through an interview with Lil Mo, chopped it up with him in the interview, and we was talking about some things in the interview, and he, shortly after the interview, lost his life. Then another one, and I'm giving y'all these stories so y'all can put it together, but the story is important. One dude I met, he was in this group, he was making beats, and he did something. Now he's in the current situation. And then another young man who I met, I told this young man a year before he passed, I said, man, I need to find him. Because the spirit was urging me, the Ruach was urging me. And if y'all don't know what the Ruach is, do your research. It was urging me to get in touch with him. And I found where he was at, and I went to him. And I told him, I was like, bruh, do you want to die? I just asked him. I know, man. He started crying. He was like, no, I don't want to die. I said, bruh, listen. And he was a musician. I said, bruh, you one of the most talented dudes I ever met in my life. But I don't give a damn about your talent. If you continue to live the way you living, you're going to die, bro.
Yeah.
So when I got the call, he passed. I was like, man. At that point, I had did what the Most High told me to do. I didn't like the outcome. Nobody likes it when somebody dies. But I was like, when I heard this song, I thought about them 3 dudes. Like, no matter where you at, no matter what you doing, and then it put perspective on my own life, you can't beat God.
Can't, bro.
You can't. Like,
I done bumped my head plenty of times, and every time my mom used to tell me a long time ago, if you keep on getting in this situation, like that's you got a chance to change it. But when God washes hands with you, and you if you're around somebody, like she used to tell me, you might see somebody and they may be able to get away with it. But as soon as you do it, he gonna correct you because it's gonna be too many people come behind you to try to do it. And I used to always she always like, damn, they'll spook me when you know what I'm saying? But I now that I got older, I'm thankful for that shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, man. Like you like I said, you can't be God. Because at the end of the day, like you said, even if whoever you're trying to be or you think you is, I think we all want to be the best version of ourselves. I don't think we know how to go about doing it. Sometimes you might be, or what somebody gonna think about me. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't think everybody really want to just raise their kids, and you know what I'm saying. To me, I really think that. I think a lot of times us in the Black community, especially men, I think we get caught up because we be just chasing money. We be trying to provide.
Yeah.
And we go down a lot of avenues trying to do that shit, and sometimes we don't get to come back from it.
Man, with that being said, like, how many times have you thought about or just seen where a young man, like, a lot of people don't understand, and I say this, y'all don't have to agree. One of the hardest things to be on earth is a man in its true sense, and then a brown man. They call us black, a brown man, and then you look at it. And the reason I say that, and I'm gonna just give it to y'all real. Most of us as brown men or males, I don't know if you ever seen, I got this thing I do called the lollipop tendency.
And I heard you a minute ago.
So
you stopped doing it though, didn't you?
Nah, I ain't.
You did it in a minute though.
I ain't did it in a minute, but it's like the thing about it. A lot of people don't understand. It came about, and I got to just be real. Most of us came up in a single parent home. I didn't, but most of us, because I know dudes, and even to make a long story short, I noticed that I had some lollipop tendencies before I came up with the term. Gotcha. So I was like, man, how can I help dudes without, just nudging them? And then the Holy Spirit, the Ruach, like, this is what